Notice of call for hearing on the proposed sale of surplus property, used equipment, all as was discussed in work session on September 6th.
Move to call for the notice for hearing on the proposed sale of surplus property.
So moved and seconded to call for the hearing. Hearing to be held September 27th at 3 a.m. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
And item 4B is a notice of call for hearing on the proposed ordinance amending Clallam County Code, Chapter 13.04, Clallam Bay CQ sewerage rate schedule, and this one also is Tuesday, September 27th at 10:30 a.m.
Move to approve the notice call for hearing on the proposed ordinance amending Clallam County Code, Chapter 13.04, Clallam Bay CQ sewage rate schedule.
Moved and seconded. Since we work session this, every time we report the table that I assume you got, you're supporting moving this forward now?
Yes, please.
Okay. So it's moved and seconded to call for the public hearing. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Budget.
Item 5A is approval of budget modifications for the week of August 29th.
Move to approve budget modifications for the week of August 29th.
Moved and seconded. Any questions, comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item 5B is a presentation of the preliminary 2017 Clallam County budget. As is my practice, I'd like to read into the record the agenda item summary, and I would start by noting that all of the information, including all of the work papers that fill up this particular binder, the agenda item summary, all of the budget documents are already online. They have been since late last week. There is a link on the front page of the website. You can go to it and print off, review, examine your part of the 10. So for that, I'll start the executive summary. The preliminary roll-up budget is the first public document due by the second Tuesday in September, dealing with the following year's budget. It is actually a compilation of 93 budgets by 20 different departments that have been submitted to the budget director, essentially rolling up all of the services, contracts, and labor agreements from the current year to reflect next year's requirements. At the same time, future revenues are estimated by each of the departments with varying degrees of uncertainty due to the unpredictability of tax revenues and some grants that are heavily dependent upon local, state, and nationwide economic conditions. Historically, preliminary roll-up budget projections tend to overstate actual expenditures and understate actual revenues, resulting in a significant structural deficit. In addition, each department submits their Schedule Bs, which are departmental requested increases in the base budget that must first be considered and approved by the commissioners, usually during meetings with each department during the first week in October, before they can get added into the upcoming administrator's final recommended budget. That is the next budget document that is made available to the public by the third Tuesday in November. After the administrator and budget director meet individually with most of the department heads and finance staff to ask questions about their asks and to refine all the various revenue estimates to reflect new information that comes in during the later stages of the budgeting process, together with input from the public meetings that are held in all three commissioner districts. Finally, on the first Tuesday in December, the final two public hearings on the budget are held, and the budget resolution, including any changes approved by the BOCC, is adopted by the commissioners. The preliminary roll-up budget for 2017 is hereby presented for discussion as required by the Clallam County Home Rule Charter on the second Tuesday in September. General fund revenues are projected by the departments to be $34,795,988 in the preliminary budget this year, essentially flat from 2016. And roll-up expenditures are projected at $37,205,762, which would result in the use of $2,409,774 in general fund reserves to balance the budget. Not included in these totals, the departments are making new asks for additional expenditure authority totaling $1,959,232, $1,720,000 $627 from general fund reserve, $189,385 from new grants, and $49,220 of new revenue from operational sources. In other funds, the road department is projecting $13,730,584 in revenues, with $21,607,291 in total expenditures, using $7,876,707 of the reserve balance during the year. Total staffing levels have increased by 23.89 full-time equivalents since 2015, and the full 40-hour work week has been maintained with 1% COLAs for most of the staff on January 1st and again on July 1st, which together with benefit cost increases makes up the bulk of the expenditure increases over last year. The other major spending increase will be the Carlsberg Sewer Project, which is expected to be fully completed during 2017. As we reported during the mid-year review, we do expect to end 2016 with a still healthy general fund reserve of $10,198,403, $6,750 of which are specifically restricted, leaving $3,448,403 available to use to cover any structural deficit created by 2017 spending that is higher than revenues. Please review the attached budget data and feel free to ask me or our budget director, Debbie Cook, any questions. So that is the agenda item.